Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike, Max, Patrick, Royce, Lavelli, Neil, and Trent Tucker. We gave Sid Hartman an all-star weekday off. We don't do it very often. Patrick, you were there. The all-star game, let's start with it. Your thoughts?
That was terrific. I said the first inning of the game had more good moments than the entire 9 innings in 1985 at the Metrodome. And watching that game, watching the Futures game on Sunday, you realize that the baseball does not have a talent problem in any way. The talent is terrific. They got a philosophy problem. The philosophy problem of somebody throws you a fastball down the middle, strike one with 2 runners on base, and you have to take it. The whole on-base percentage thing is what baseball's problem is. It's not the level of talent. They have a fantastic level of talent.
The walk has become a weapon in baseball now, and players can.
How about B.J. Upton being called out on strikes 42 times at the All-Star break? That is why. Why is everybody striking out? Because they give themselves one swing. That's what the trouble is.
There are players in the league who don't mind running deep into counts and risking no strikeouts.
Players in 80% of them.
But I think there's some hitters who do have to be patient to give themselves a chance. What about Oswaldo Arcia these days?
Well, that's true, but they're, half the time he's taking a pitch too. No. So what I'm just saying is, what's making baseball unwatchable in the last 3.5 hours is philosophy, not talent.
You like to, if a guy gets if you see a fastball, you want the guy to jump on it, regardless of what the count is.
Hit him a double.
That's what the Twins keep telling their guys to do.
So you got to say there are no more Kirby Puckett's in the lineup.
Yes.
Yes. See-ball, hit ball.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to Tony last night at the Twins game. As a matter of fact, he was sitting down. We were out in the stands.
Tony Oliva, you mean?
Yeah, and I told him, I gave him the B.J. Upton stat: 42 called third strikes at the All-Star break, and he says, "You look it up. I might have been called out on strikes 4 times a year."
Happy 76th birthday to Tony today. Today is Tony Oliva's birthday.
76?
76 today.
I was talking to Denny McClain the other day. Denny McClain, I said,
really?
Yeah, give me Carew, Killebrew, Oliva. How'd you pitch him? What was it? He didn't seem that concerned about Carew because he said he's going to hit a single at best if you jammed him inside. Harmon, he said, this and that, this is what you try. But he said with Oliva, there was no book. He said it didn't matter how low you would go, he could bring it back up. And he said Mickey Loder says the same thing, toughest guy he ever pitched against.
I've always said he was the Twins' best hitter because he had both average and power. Harmon had power, and Rodney had average, and Tony had them both.
How much longer was his career would have been prolonged if he had been playing today?
Because they would have given him arthroscopic surgery on that knee, and he would have played till he was 39 years old at full speed. But instead, every year they had to go in and clean out the knee, and it ended up being this big.
Did you get in on the marquee part of the All-Star game at all, Trent?
Not much. I was able to watch, some of the game on TV. But I was there to...
TV? You didn't go to any games?
I didn't go to the game. I didn't get a chance to go down there.
You just walk across the street and you're there.
I had a chance to, to watch, one of my favorite players played in his last All-Star game in Derek Jeter. So I was happy, like Patrick said. The first inning had some fireworks because DJ was in the middle of all of it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, though, that it did was, on a beautiful night at Target Field, it reminded you how good baseball is when it's played right. And you forget how long it's been since baseball's been played well at Target Field.
Yeah, although I was there last night, and David Price is pitching, and they got a 35,000 crowd, and, the home team, just because the home team doesn't win doesn't mean you can't see a great performance. I was perfectly happy watching David Price pitch.
But I like to watch when both teams got it. And it looks like a hit, and the second baseman takes it away. Derek Jeter owned the week, too.
That's right. And he made a diamond stop on the first play and almost threw out McCutchen.
Jeff Nelson, I talked to him before the game, and he's umpiring first base. Yeah. And he said, I just hope I don't have any close plays they're going to talk about replay. And the first batter, McCutchen hits that ball.
I guarantee you, if we didn't have replay, he would have called him out.
That's a good point.
Because when you make the great play, you call the guy out.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. And nobody, everybody just goes about their business, but with replay.
Yeah, you got to get it right.
How about Yasiel Puig doing his best Oswaldo Arcia impersonation in right field, going after that triple? He had a bad week. He whiffed in the home run contest. He may have been in the box for 5 minutes.
Do you like the home run derby or not?
Covering it, no. As a fan, I probably would enjoy it. But covering it, we call Monday and Tuesday the sports writer solstice, the longest sports writing days of the year. because you're starting at 10 a.m. and you're finishing at midnight. And it's because of the home run derby. It's made that Monday the most dreadful day of the baseball writer season.
Do you think it's entertaining, Patrick?
Yeah, it's fine. They got to get Jose Abreu, though, rookie from the White Sox, and he's not in the home run derby. If I'm the White Sox, I'm saying, hey, go hit. We want the pub, man. They're drawing nobody in U.S. Cellular Field. You know, he goes, wins the home run derby. Maybe somebody in Chicago go to a ball game. Yeah. I got a plan. I always have a plan. Yeah. Here's my plan. You can put in contracts bonuses for all-stars and awards, right? You can't do it for, like, I'll pay you more if you hit 32 home runs.
Right, but you can all-star get appearances.
If you are chosen and participate in the home run derby, there can be a bonus in your contract. 100,000.
You're going to have to convince clubs that it's worthwhile to them to have their player in the home run derby.
What do they care? It's $100 grand for a guy who's one of your best power hitters. You're going to pay him that next year anyway. What do they care?
You know teams are cheap.
Not all of them.
I talked to Brian Dozier today, and he was saying the difference. You go out there for early batting practice, and you see him, and he can boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
And he said the difference between when the lights came on and the camera came on, trying to do the same thing that he can do every day.
You know, the thing I don't like, that's the one aspect about the approaches these guys take. They take like 8 pitches between a swing.
Yeah.
And that's not what, when they're going off on bat practice, they're getting the ball thrown at them every 5 seconds.
Here was part of the problem the other night, too, though. That, you want heat and humidity for a home run derby.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool.
27 degrees and snowing.
hey, tomorrow will be a great day for the home run derby. It's supposed to be
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
CW23 is proud to be a sponsor of Minnesota Monthly's 3rd annual Fine Spirits Classic.
Join us on Thursday, July 24th at the Minneapolis Event Center and sample high-end spirits from around the world.
For more information and to buy your tickets now, go to minnesotamonthly.com.
If you have a collision at 25 miles an hour and you're not wearing a seatbelt, it's like falling from a 2-story building. At 40 miles an hour, it's like falling from 6 stories high. And at 60 miles an hour, if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you crash, it's like falling from 12 stories high. Buckle up. A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
The Twin Cities' best Subaru deals are easy to catch at Luther White Bear Subaru. Take a look. This is the summer to discover. The fuel-efficient all-wheel drive Outback leased for just $269 a month. Rather buy? Save at White Bear Subaru with 0% financing on every new Outback in stock. This is the summer to discover Outback. That's a beauty. I'm Dan Mullen, and thanks for watching. Luther White Bear Subaru, Highway 61, just north of 694 in White Bear Lake.
Come on, John. I'll hold the football and you'll kick it.
This time, I'm going to kick that football clear to the moon. Ah! Ah!
Welcome to ACC football, Johnny.
See why more people are coming to Audi than ever before at Audi Minneapolis. Experience the legendary performance and handling of an A4 2.0 T Quattro. Lease yours for only $379 a month. Plus, Audi Minneapolis will make your first month's payment. Or try out the luxury and power of an A6. Lease for just $499 a month. The Summer of Audi event at Audi Minneapolis on 394 at General Mills Boulevard and at AudiMinneapolis.com.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer, your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, and great outdoor dining, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
Stop on by J.D. Hoyt's this summer, coming downtown for anything. The Minnesota Twins, the State Fair, whatever it is, stop by J.D. Hoyt's. Say hi to Pat and the gang. They had an all-star week themselves over at J.D. Hoyt's. Welcome back to the sports show. We advance now to the all-star game gets over and you take a look at the Twins. And the next question becomes, Patrick, are they buyers or sellers now as we head towards August 1st?
I think this is the dumbest argument I have ever heard in my entire life. What makes them a seller? That they trade Josh Willingham for a Class D prospect?
Right.
Nobody wants him.
So now
Has
you're down-
anybody watched him hit?
So you're down to Perkins and Suzuki.
Well, you're not going to trade Perkins. He's here for 4 more years. Joe Mauer's hurt and has a no trade. And, unless maybe Trevor Plouffe, but I can't get rid of him now because I don't know when Sano's going to be ready. There's nothing to trade.
There's nothing to
What
do.
is the conversation about? It's the dumbest conversation I've ever heard.
Here's the thing, Kurt Suzuki's hitting as well as he ever had in his career. He's
Yes.
outperforming his career numbers. And if they can get something for Suzuki,
Okay.
they should move him and then deal with it during the offseason.
And then what are you going to do?
As far as what, a catcher?
You don't have a catcher.
You re-sign him next year.
You don't have a
You re-sign him for next year.
Well,
at least
maybe-
get something for him now.
Maybe he goes somewhere and they say, well, we'll keep him.
That's the risk in doing that. But if you get something good for Suzuki, you just make the move. I got to imagine some team may look at Correa as a back-end starter.
I guess he'd be the
Well,
most
yeah.
viable that I would see as meeting the criteria.
He's had a strong 7-game run here.
Yeah, okay, but that's what difference does that make? That doesn't make you a seller. It means you got Trevor May or Alex Meyer in your rotation instead of Kevin Correa. That doesn't do
So you're saying when the team is a seller, that means they're trading away 5 or 6 guys?
I mean that means they're trading away something important. These guys are not going to trade away anything important.
Trent, what's happens in a locker room when you're on your 4th year and you've given it the old college try and you realize that you ain't good enough again and you're the Twins?
Well, I mean, when you talk about trading, someone has to want the assets that you have.
Right.
And if you're a team that hasn't played well, it's hard for you to trade one of your players and get something of value in return that's going to help you down
But what
the road.
happens to the morale of a team? How do you keep a team together when you're going, jeepers, this just isn't working again?
Well, I think it's all about the players who are in the locker room at that time. When you're going through a very tough stretch, someone has to step up and remind the guys that we are working hard, we're trying to get through this, but we're going to have to stay together when things become tough.
What I generally see is different factions. You've got the young guys that are just happy to be in the big leagues, then you got the older guys that are worried about something else.
I want to know one thing. Do the Twins get together as a brain trust, Gardy and the rest of them, and say, what statement can we issue that's going to embarrass Joe Mauer? First of all, we had bilateral leg weakness, which started all the Joe Mauer's wussy stuff, right? And then, at the end of that year, we're going to not have him play the last 3 weeks of the season because he has a mild case of pneumonia.
Yes.
A mild case of pneumonia. If you're going to shut him down, tell me it's a serious case of pneumonia. And then yesterday, Gardy says, well, Joe's a little better, but he can still feel it when he coughs or yawns.
That's Dr. Gardenhire, man.
Whoever, when he coughs or yawns.
Yeah,
so what do I say if I'm one of the Mauer bashers on Twitter? Don't cough or yawn.
Look,
And yawning's a problem. They keep setting up situations, saying stuff about him that makes him look like an even bigger non-competitor than he is.
It's Dr. Gardenhire, man. You've seen Gardy through the years when he starts talking about
he-
players and injuries. Remember Kadire had the
So you're saying
wart?
that's exactly what he's trying to achieve.
Kadire had the wart on his foot, and Gardy said he tried a home remedy and it got it infected. And Kadire's
no,
like, that never
I think
happened.
he's saying that they don't use common sense.
No, I
when
think
they
Gardy
talk
twists
about
things and makes things worse.
Okay, what do you think about Mauer's situation right now?
I think the oblique muscle strain is usually a 1-month injury. So I did not expect him to be ready after the All-Star break. I would not be surprised if he's not ready to the end of the first week in August. That's because of the nature of that injury. Guys injure that muscle, it takes a long time for it to heal.
Okay, Trent, you played with the best ever, Michael Jordan. What do you have to be if you're seen as the marquee player in the clubhouse? Nobody wants to see somebody get hurt, and everybody wants to see people play with pain.
Well, mental toughness for sure. I remember there was a game we played in '93, the first round of the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks. We were up 2-0, and we was trying to close them out. It was a 3-out-of-5 series at that stage, and Michael Jordan sprains his ankle late in the third quarter, and they had to carry him off the floor. And we were thinking, you know, he could be done for the rest
whole
of the
thing
series.
is in jeopardy now.
And you know, we were hoping that we know we're up 2-0. We're hoping that he might come back for Game 5. Within about 10 minutes, we saw him coming out of the locker room, and he was playing on one ankle. And we said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm trying to close this thing out now so that I can get some rest because we don't want to give the Atlanta Hawks any life."
And that was his mindset.
Yeah, that was his
Well,
mindset.
The famous Isaiah, Detroit, you know, didn't Isaiah dang near broke his leg and kept playing against them too when they eliminated the Bulls or the Celtics way back when, right? Yeah. So
it's all about the mindset of the individual, and I was lucky enough to play with some guys who played through severest pain. And one year Bernard King dislocated both of his fingers on both hands, and we were in Game 5 against the Pistons back in 1984, and he still went out and scored 40+ points. And he said there was no way that he was coming out of that game, and Hubie Brown didn't have the guts to take him out either.
But there is difference. Don't you think with athletes there is differences in pain thresholds, and that doesn't make one guy a wussy and the other not. Some people can perform with it, some can't.
I always say that, you know, if you're injured and it's going to hamper your performance on the field, then you can't play. You know, pain and injuries are two different things.
We're not Jamar's body.
Yeah, that's right. You don't know what he's really feeling, all that stuff. Justin Morneau, what's your take on his career as you watched what he's put up, the numbers he's put up to the All-Star break?
Well, I talked to him for a while in Colorado when the Twins were there a couple weeks ago, and he just talked like a guy who had the weight of the world off his shoulders. I think last year when he was here with the Twins, he was so wound up trying to get back to what he was, and I think he worried himself into a funk, and obviously he didn't show the strength or the power. And I guess going to Colorado, the ball's carrying a little bit better for him there. And he looks more like the old Morneau. He looked a little bit stronger to me than a year ago. But he said the one thing hitting the Coors Field has taught him to do is use the whole field again, which he had gotten away from the last couple of years with the Twins. And because he's taking the RBI singles to left field now, and the RBI singles up the middle, and getting occasional home runs.
And his arse isn't in the first base dugout like it was here. He's stepping towards the pitcher instead of stepping this way.
Exactly.
To me, and he said that.
Happy for a guy. I felt bad for Kadire because I saw Kadire all 3 days like this, you know, because he's got the shoulder in a sling. He was trying to play third base because someone was injured and tore his shoulder capsule.
Is he done?
He has to have a exam this week.
I know, but he could be done his career, right? I mean, if the injury is what they think it might be.
No, I think he can come back next year because it's his left shoulder, so it's not his throwing shoulder. So as long as it's stable and holds together, he can play. And he'll go back to the outfield. He had no business playing third base. That was it.
If you don't have stability in that other shoulder when you're hitting, man, over 162 games, it'll wear you out. You get one bad habit and it's over. Stay with us.
Better bring up a lot.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Allery's, the original St. Paul sports bar, now with 65 beers on tap.
Attention, please get a pencil. Announcing a hearing breakthrough, a microchip that is so small it can fit on the head of a pin, worn hidden entirely in your ear canal, making you hear clear as a bell. Proudly made in the USA. Do you feel left out of conversations? Is it difficult to hear words in noisy environments? Do others say that you listen to the TV or radio too loudly? Do you feel like a bother to others due to your problems hearing? If you answered yes, you may qualify for this new chip in the ear. Only 50 participants are needed to try this microchip, so get a pencil. Call now to see if you qualify. This revolutionary chip actually mimics the natural sound selection of the human ear. With multi-core microprocessors, technology used in the most advanced computers, Sounds are analyzed and classified each millisecond, controlling noise and making speech clear. Do not wait. Call now to see if you qualify to wear this revolutionary new microchip.
In a world full of compromise, the Audi A3 takes a different path. Get uncompromised design, the style and presence of Audi in a lighter, smaller form, uncompromised performance, a lightning-quick turbocharged engine, and race-bred S-tronic transmission. Uncompromised luxury with standard leather seating and panoramic sunroof. Lease your A3 for only $299 a month. Plus, during the Summer of Audi event, Audi Minneapolis will make your first payment. Stay uncompromised. Audi Minneapolis.
Audi Minneapolis, stop on by, see Charlie and the gang, drive out with an A6, you'll drive out happy. That's Audi Minneapolis off of 394 and General Mills Boulevard. Welcome back to the Sports Show. I talked to Glenn Taylor this morning. It sure sounds to me like this is going the way of a three-team deal. The two things I got out of it, and don't just narrow it to Cleveland and Golden State at this point. I don't know what that means because Kevin Love has to agree to whoever, but it sure sounded like for the Timberwolves to get any veteran through Cleveland, it's going to have to be a three-way deal. Well, Kevin Love is still in the driver's seat because, you know, even if they make the trade for him, he has to agree that he's going to spend 2 or 3 more years in the team that the team
and it
he
does
goes
sound
to.
like he's comfortable with Cleveland at this
And
point.
it seems like he wants to go to Cleveland and have a chance to play with LeBron James. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. So what do you think? So how do the Wolves
No
extract the
doubt.
most value out of this deal?
Well, you know, like I said, they're at the mercy of Kevin Love. And the Golden State deal to me, if it's on the table, and if they could get Klay Thompson, makes the most sense to me in terms of what you're going to get back in return of value.
Patrick?
Well, I think one of the keys for them that we're not talking about is they want to figure out a way to get rid of Kevin Martin. And they want that to be, you can't do that making the Cleveland trade because you can't put more money into the, you know.
That's not an expiring
Cleveland
contract,
part of
though, is it?
No, 3 more years. That's why they want to get rid of him. So if you trade with Golden State, you take David Lee, but you only got him for a couple of years, and they want to get out from under Kevin Martin, and I think that's the. Otherwise, the trade, if you can get Wiggins, Bennett, and the number 1, yeah, let's do it. What
Well,
the
the
heck?
number 1 is gonna
because
be
this idea, of,
very-
but
Right.
Trent, this idea of getting veterans. So what's that going to do?
Well,
Make them an 8th place playoff team if
Well,
they're lucky?
You know, and many people have asked the same question. I look at Golden State and what they have in return. They have guys who are proven playoff players.
I'd take Klay Thompson.
And,
but-
and for the Wolves who haven't been to the playoffs over the last 10 years, at some
Mhm.
point in time, you'd like to see them make some deals that's going to bring some people in that can hopefully turn this thing around. You know, sooner than later.
Because if you got Wiggins coming in with Levine and Glenn Robinson, if he makes the team, and Rubio, and Pekovic going to play his 50 games a year, boy, are you weak up front.
Yeah, but
especially
I
in the
do-
Western Conference.
But to me, if you make a 3rd team involved and you get, I don't know who, you know.
I don't know who
Somebody
either.
not as good as Klay Thompson. You'd have to get somebody as good as Klay, Harrison Barnes or something.
Do you
think? Who cares? I'd rather have Wiggins and Bennett and win 28 games again and have some fun.
They have another first-round pick.
Have some fun.
Yep.
Watch Wiggins and Levine and run up and down the court and get beat 120 to 108, you know?
Any of us thinking here that Glenn's just playing the rhetoric game right now because he's threatening to take Kevin Love into the regular season if he doesn't get a good deal. Now he's claiming there's more than one team that could possibly be involved. Is he trying to make it sound like there's a market for him just to get
Well, it's
other
an
teams?
auction is what it is right now.
I hate to say this about the new owner of the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, but Glenn Taylor has no quality of BS. Flip could BS you. Every other buddy could BS you. When you talk to Glenn Taylor, he tells you the truth.
That's right, trying to keep you away from him sometimes. Exactly. Take a break. Stay with us.
He's not trying to.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Case Law, for all your legal needs, not your typical law firm. And Griffin Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, Christian Ponder, the Wild, Zach Parise, the Timberwolves, Ricky Rubio, This is where I go Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. Justin Bieber! Hey, I like him first. For details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Beacon Bank, Bob Weiss and the gang are waiting to be a great partner for you in the next business idea, the next gem that you've got. Stop on by Beacon Bank, responsive, reliable, reassuring, you bet. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Chris Kluwe, how many times I thought this thing was almost over, Patrick?
Well, they've poked him now, and now he's throwing out old rumors of misbehavior by teammates, and he's not going to go away. You know what would bother me about Mike Priefer more than the fact that in a team environment he might have made homophobic slurs is that he lied to me about it. He's a supervisor, and he lied to me about it, that he said he didn't say it. The fact that if I'm Spielman or Ziggy or anybody, I got a guy who's one of my supervisors that's a liar, that would bother me.
Is there a
when
chance?
I went face-to-face with him, and he lied to me, that's what would bother me.
Is there a chance? What I was told was the league got involved in this and said he will sign off on this now. 3-game suspension.
He better. I mean, yeah, he's getting off light. He's lucky it's not 6 games or 8 or 10, or he's lucky he still has a job. Apparently, he's incredibly respected over there at Winter Park, and everybody loves him.
And the truth is, he was seen as a guy, there's no guarantee, but a guy that could be a head coach one day.
Exactly. No, you've been on there, but he's a special teams coach. How valuable could he be? But obviously, the Vikings love him.
Too. You're not just looking. Right. You're looking at, does this guy have personality to command a room?
So, and Kluwe's thing is his numbers declined. He was let go from the Vikings because of performance. If he was among the best kickers in the league, they would have found a way to ignore his complaints or his concerns. That's the way I look at it.
Priefer hated him. Priefer came to hate him. That's pretty clear. While he was still there, and I can see Priefer making anti-gay remarks just to agitate Kluwe because he hated him so much. That's the way I read it.
But at that time, was Kluwe even out there defending that?
Yes,
was he? I can't remember.
Was big in it for a year and a half at least. Yeah.
What's your take on the whole thing, Trent?
Well, like Patrick said, if you're a supervisor, you know, there's a certain way you have to conduct yourself. You know, you may feel a certain way about an individual, but you still have to manage people the right way and make sure that you're doing what's right for the organization also.
Okay, so let me ask you a philosophical question.
Okay.
Going forward, if this is seen as maybe a door opener, what happens the next time there's a slur of any kind and a guy gets cut? Does the league have to be concerned about their locker rooms all over the league because you've got precedence here?
Well, you want to make sure.
You offended me when I played because you said something that was anti to whatever I believe.
I understand it, but you know, as a supervisor and a leader, you have to understand those things.
So there's a lot of training that's going to go on.
Right. So you have to put yourself in a position to take care of you, but also to make sure that the organization is taken care of as well.
Okay, that's tough for me to see. How are you going to have a positive/healthy work environment connected with a football organization? It just doesn't match up.
Well,
that's
but
not what football's about.
I don't think Trent's talking about player to player.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
You're saying that the coach has to be responsible.
The coaches cannot be. The coaches are no longer going to be allowed to engage in this.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quart surfaces. Ticket King, for the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology, life is worth hearing.